Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Palm Springs Unified School District Board Foundation Subcommittee meeting. Today is September 15th, 2022. Can we get a roll call, please?
Palm Springs Board Member Cornett.
Here.
Palm Springs Board President Girardi.
Here.
Foundation Board Member Bush.
Here.
Foundation Director Goodman.
I'm here.
Superintendent of Schools Dr. Sweezy.
Here.
And Foundation Board President Gothier is absent today.
Thank you very much, Erica. Item number 2 is approval of the agenda. Has everybody had a chance to read the agenda, and can we get a motion to approve, please?
So second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Item number 3 is public comments. Do we have anybody from the public who would like to address this body? No? All right. Then we'll go to item number 4, which is information discussion. And I think, Ellen, you're going to lead this?
And that is for the foundation update?
Yes, it is. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yes, of course. Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll start off with some good news. Let's see, I'll give you some fundraising numbers. So this is from July 1st until today. These are unaudited numbers. The foundation has raised $186,000. Out of the $186,000, 11 individuals are new donors to the foundation, and 40 are recurring donors to the foundation. So those are our numbers. And then our projects that we have been tackling these last few weeks. We did kick off our 7th grade essay contest. That was fantastic. We had a really good show of teachers. And this time, which was a little different than our first year, we had our founders and we had our judges on the Zoom with the teachers. And it was so heartfelt. So basically, we did introductions. Everyone went around Zoom, introduced themselves. We talked a little bit about what worked last year and some of the lessons that we learned. And then everyone got a chance to share individually their experience of the essay contest. And it was really, it was moving to hear community members be so touched and so engaged with our students and so appreciative of our teachers. And I don't think this happens very often, where teachers really get to be with community members and hear their experience of their work, their kids, their efforts, and their successes. So that was great. And then teachers shared what showed up for them around the essay contest. And that also was wonderful for our community, because the community doesn't always get a chance to see into the windows of how demanding life is for a teacher and how creative teachers can be in that amount of time that they have. So I will say there wasn't probably a dry eye in the house. It was really pretty great. It went on for about an hour. At the end, like all of our Zoom meetings with our essay teachers, we had trivia and gave out gift cards. So that was super fun. So they're off and running. And I will give a big shout out to Katie Dean this year. I think I mentioned that last month, where she's this year's TOSA, and she was one of the winners. One of her students was the winners. And so she is really excited about supporting the foundation this year. The essay contest will run from now until, I believe, the last Monday in March, which is right before spring break. So that gives us a couple of days to make sure all the essays are uploaded. And we're really not changing very much. We're going to continue the same process that we continued since it was successful, so that we can continue to document. The next project, I will say, are wellness centers. I've got some fun things to report on our wellness centers. We did a site visit since we met last, and that was with the Desert Healthcare District. Is that right? The Desert Healthcare District Foundation. And they had 3 individuals come to a school. And then there was myself, their principal, the team, the MTSS team, excuse me, including someone who's been doing restorative practices, and a foundation board member, Mitch Bloomberg, was there. We spent about an hour and 20 minutes at the school. Everyone was super helpful, a lot of information shared, really good questions. And we have a follow-up meeting next week to answer a few questions that they have around budget and timeline. But they were very, very impressed. In our valley, we've seen maybe one wellness center or one calming center kind of pop up at one school. And I say valley, so that includes all 3 school districts. This is from the funders lens, but they have not seen something that has been so structured and so organized that's really district-wide. So they were very, very pleased. And we think that will go well. Our request is for $100,000, and that would be for 4 elementary schools in Desert Hot Springs. I don't know if I mentioned, can't remember if I mentioned last month, the city of Palm Springs sent us an email that the proposal that we sent to their Measure J committee for consideration for 4 wellness centers was approved. And we have since filled out their paperwork requesting the funds, and we should receive those funds periodically. And we've now had 2 meetings at Palm Springs city-based schools, one at Raymond Cree and one at Kauai Elementary, just to start to prepare the conversation around wellness centers.
So
that
Ellen,
also was for 100,000. Yes, Mike.
sorry, that's great. That's great news. And I'll share in the district update later, Dr. Kovac and I have been stopping in a lot of the wellness centers on our school visits, and they look amazing. Do you have a quick scorecard of how many we have in place, how many are in the pipeline, and then how many we're still trying to fundraise for?
Yes. So right now, 6 are completed. We've raised $300,000, which is about 12. Let me just do that math really quickly. I'm sorry. Right. So that's 12. So we have money raised for 12, and that includes the pledge. That includes the City of Palm Springs pledge. We have 6 that are completed. We have 6 that are in the pipeline. And it's moving fast.
Yeah.
Faster than we thought. We really had a 3-year strategy rollout, which we do believe it will still take 3 years to actually incorporate them into the school culture, just because some schools won't be ready. And then the balance of the money. So I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, no, that's great.
And when you talk about like in the pipeline, Laura Musil had given us a list of schools, and that was why the request for the Desert Healthcare District was for the Desert Hot Springs schools, because those are at the top of the list.
Yep, perfect. Thank you.
Yes. We do have some requests that are out that are still pending. We haven't heard back from, and that is the nationwide, the Morgan Stanley proposal. We have not heard back yet from them. This week, next week, this week is over. Next week, we will be submitting the CBS Spotlight grant, which is a familiar Coachella Valley grant, and we'll be submitting a request to Eisenhower. And so the CBS Spotlight is for $25,000 and Eisenhower is for $50,000. The Desert Healthcare District was very interested to know if hospitals in our area were sponsoring. And so I reported last month that Desert Regional Hospital is supporting 1 wellness center. So they were very, very pleased with that. And then in our month since we met last, our big alumni production for everyone in the Valley is off and running. I'm hoping that you're seeing some of the posts or emails. It is called One Night Out Havana. That is this year's theme. We have sold 325 tickets so far. Well, I should really say 275 tickets, because there are 300 tickets, because we did give radio stations 20 tickets for their promotions to be able to do giveaways on the radio. And so about 300 tickets have been sold. Because we're doing a few comp tickets with media and the radio, our number for sold out, where we'll cap our attendance, is at 600. We have a great alumni team. I've mentioned this before. It spans over multiple decades. Our advertising is being done in the Desert Sun, which our first ad ran yesterday. There will be a total of 6 ads. So we'll see 5 more ads come in the next 2 weeks. And the radio stations are Alpha Media, it's 100.5. And then then KGay, which I believe is a 96 point something station. And those are our two radio stations. We're not going to solicit, we're not going to go to the television station. We think we're going to reach our numbers with social media and the advertisements that we have in place. I think it's going to be really fun. I notice a few people on today's Zoom have not gotten their tickets yet. And so I'm just going to put that out there. It's Saturday, October 1st. It'll be super, super great. We do have, for the first time we've done this, is a alumni spotlight award. And that is going to our former chairman of the Agua Caliente tribe, Jeff Gruby. And so he'll be our award winning individual. And that will happen at about between 8:20 and 8:30. So the event is 7 to 10. And between 8:20 and 8:30 is when the band and the DJ will switch places. So that'll be the opportunity. And so we are looking for someone to present that award to work with us and the former chairman. We think that's an important position. And as if this wasn't enough in 4 weeks or in 8 weeks, we did actually our board did just nominate a brand new board member. And so I'm very happy to say that in Q1, we have 3 new board members at the foundation. And this was a goal of our strategy group. So our strategy group started to meet during COVID when there was a need to pivot. And we took the opportunity to go inward to create a little bit more infrastructure so that we could launch off of that infrastructure and be stronger and better than we've been. And one of the goals, well, actually 2 of the goals, was an alumni event. And another goal was bringing on 3 new board members. So we've accomplished those goals. We feel really good about it. And I'm going to pause there for a second and ask Kathy if she has any thoughts or would like to add anything. You're on mute, Kathy.
Seems to be a habit. I always am muted. No, it's been a very strong and unusually strong start, I think, to the year. So it's been really gratifying to see the ticket sales for the alumni event, and it's been really, I think, good strategy on Ellen's part to kind of bring in the alumni community. So we actually have alums working on it. And I've reached out to a couple alums, and they've sent out in their social media. So it'll really spread the vibe of what Palm Springs Unified is doing, through the immediate community. And I think that will yield results later on. This is a donor acquisition strategy, and I think it's a good one. And so I'm really pleased that Ellen has done this with a man down, shall we say, because Javier went out on emergency surgery. And so she's doing this with, Edgar, but Javier, who's been doing all the media support, is unable to really assist her in the way. And one of the new board members has really stepped up to help. So we're getting a deeper bench, if you will, on the foundation board that have definite job skills. So I look forward to, working with them. And I think it's a great start to get everyone energized.
Great, Kathy, thank you. And then I'll turn it over to everybody else.
Karen, do you have anything? Muted.
I'm trying to unmute.
There you go.
There I go. No, I just want to say congratulations to the foundation. I mean, you're really off to a great start. And it sounds like the Havana Nights theme is going to really bring in a lot of people. Also, this is for all alumni throughout the district, correct? Not just Palm Springs High School.
Oh, yes, it's a PSUSD alumni. So it is on all the media and press release, it says PSUSD alumni production, and the Spotlight Award is PSUSD. And the people at the table, they represent Desert Hot Springs, Cathedral City, Palm Springs, and I don't actually think we have a Rancho Mirage representative. But yes, no, it's everybody. And it will be a strategy that will take a while, because it is also for everyone over 21. It's something we wrestled with in our early meetings, is what about spouses of alumni? What about friends of alumni? And that's why we positioned it as a PSUSD alumni production for everyone over 21. But I do think year after year, we will see more and more and more alumni. And we also have PSUSD staff. I don't know if they're alumni, but a number of staff members have purchased tickets.
Great. Sounds like a very fun evening. And I really want to say something about the wellness centers. I mean, I want to congratulate all their hard work. I mean, that's fabulous for our kids. So we hope that all of our schools can get those, especially at an elementary level and middle school level before they go into high school, so that they know what it is once they get there.
Yes, and one thing that we've now been asked for, and it has been a part of our plan, and now it's just about capacity, and that was a small little like playbook, maybe 5 or 6 pages. Like, what is it that the schools need to know about these wellness centers so that they can make them the most successful? And each school is at a different point in their MTSS integration. So I think the schools that are starting to hear about it that might be slated for year 2 and year 3, they're the ones that are most curious. I think the ones that have, kind of the early adapters, and which is where we're seeing our wellness centers, they have a much clearer understanding, and they have been working with the district. And so hopefully our next phase will be building out that small playbook so that we can introduce that to people.
Okay, thanks.
All right, well, thank you, Ellen. It sounds like you're off to a great start, 186,000 in just over 2 months. I mean, and this is the fringe period of the Coachella Valley. So I think the future looks pretty promising for you guys. If you mentioned this, I missed it. I was fighting with my monitor for a couple of minutes. How many teachers are involved in the 7th grade essay contest? Do you know by any chance?
I don't have an exact number, John. There are about 20 to say 22 7th grade English teachers. We had 9 on the Zoom, but more participated. So
Okay.
I'm thinking 14, 15, that just is something that I'm remembering, a number that actually participated. And so we do hope that everyone will eventually participate. We do understand that sometimes we have first-year teachers and they're not quite sure how to incorporate it into their lesson plans. And so last year I was very curious about how and why, and it was understandable for the reasonings that we were given. And so we feel that if we can do it again this year with the same success, maybe add a few teachers, that would be great. They're all welcomed. But if we can do the same as we did last year, it'll soon catch on and everyone will be able to participate. And I don't know if maybe Simone or Mike, you have a thought about that.
Well, I appreciate you asking the question, John. It was such a great event. And so I know that the culture of the district sometimes likes to start small and grow. And I've also been so influenced by our board that I think Ellen is underselling how much stuff she can get done. So I could feel myself channeling you, John, there, that I would love to see that with all the teachers. We're not at a directive level, so we don't want to force anybody to participate, but working closely with educational services, I'd be shocked if the numbers don't increase to, I'm sure, 85 to 90% participation, because there's such a great program. And once that word gets out, just like the wellness centers, they then are hungry to jump on board.
And I believe you're offering a fairly generous financial incentive to participate. So take advantage of it,
Right.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, in the Zoom introduction, we know that as word spreads and as the fever kind of, captures everybody, the people, the adults the funders or community members, they were like, oh my God, we have to raise more money because they will not reduce the winnings. They believe
That's
that the
awesome.
families really need the money.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was also going to ask about how you're getting along with Javier, but Kathy, I guess, alluded to you're using bandages and Band-Aids, I guess, and you're getting by okay.
Yeah, I'm drowning, to be honest.
I'm sure.
And
Okay.
so, yeah, it's been pretty difficult. We do have a board member who stepped up for the Havana event. I mean, boy, does she have skills. Like, who knew when you interview, right? People interview well, they look great on paper, but boy, when she hit that ground, it was like unbelievable. And then we did have to hire a few people, so we had some expenses. But I think nonetheless, the back end operations, none of them can do. So we're kind of limping along, but we're getting it done.
Good. And then my final question, to anybody that can answer this, where are we on the MOU?
The foundation board submitted the two very small modifications. I think one of them was really just making, one of them was so teeny tiny. I think it was about the name. Oh, because it was in Sandy's name and it has to be in Mike's name. So that was small. And then it was a part of the statement of purpose being added. So we were waiting for the school district.
Okay. So it's in our court, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for a very detailed and you guys never sit on your laurels, and I really respect you for that. Thank you very much.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Karen, thank you. Mike and Simone, thanks.
Absolutely.
Simone or Mike, you guys have anything you want to add?
I have, if I can just give a super quick district update, John, just a couple minutes. So again, just echo the same thing you said. Thank you, Ellen. I'm so excited. As I mentioned, Simone and I have been out visiting every school. We've got a couple more days to go, but we've really been taking on the tour of the wellness centers. So the ones that jump to mind are Painted Hills and Desert Springs we saw recently. And
Bella Vista. I had to
Bella
check.
Vista.
Bella is amazing.
Yep. Thank you, Bella Vista. And I've taken some pictures, which I'll share with the board in the Friday. They look great. They kind of, as part of Ellen, I would say it was your vision early on. I didn't love the word industrial, that our schools looked industrial. So I'll say they don't look like traditional school settings. They are definitely indoor Zen gardens. I mean, they're just beautiful. Fountains and lights and comfortable creative seating, and they're beautiful. So thank you to the foundation. That is moving much more quickly, Ellen, I think, than we all thought. And I think that's wonderful. And we will keep working on the school side. And if we can get the fundraisers, if we can get the donors and the funds raised, I'd love to have those at every school by the end of the year. I know Dr. Musil in student services, along with Tanisha Taylor, have been working on best practices for I think you called it the playbook, best practices for wellness centers. And so that work, I think, is almost completed. And so we will help encourage those schools that still have questions, because I feel like this one has picked up steam. It is the right thing at the right time for our students. So thank you. It's really exciting. The Havana Nights sounds amazing. I'm so sad I'm out of town that weekend. And so I just, it sounds like it's going to be amazing. And I know the hundreds of tickets that have been sold, I wish I could be there, but unfortunately I can't. I think we'll have several members from cabinet who will make sure to be there to celebrate. I did also just want to say, as an update to the foundation members, we had a significant change in our requirement to test unvaccinated staff. And so the governor rescinded that health order. And so starting next week, we don't have to track vaccination status or negative test status of employees. That means that right around the corner, volunteers in the classroom will be returning, and then soon followed by some more indoor student events. So lots of things happening in a very positive way. And again, just to share one more thing from the visits with Dr. Kovac and I, I was so happy last year in September when we got back to school in person for all of our students. And where we are this September as compared to last September is light years different. Students are sitting next to one another, they're talking to each other, they're turning and talking, they're working collaboratively, they're working on projects together. Teachers look much more comfortable, classified staff much more comfortable, and students are engaged much closer to the levels that they were before the pandemic. It's been very, very rewarding to see. So I wanted to pass that along to everybody in the room that it's looking great out there. Still lots of challenges, of course, but nothing that we can't handle in the district. And I'm so excited about the ongoing partnership between the district and the foundation. So thank you, Ellen, and thank you, Kathy, if you could pass that along.
All right, any other comments? Erica, Monica, Ellen?
I'm sorry, I did leave one thing off, and when the time's appropriate, I'd like to add that.
Why don't you do that right now?
Okay, thank you. We were approached by Amazon to partner with an initiative that they are launching on Monday. And so that partnership is with a company called Donor Choose. Some people might have heard of that before. And that is when teachers, and this is nationwide, post needs that are connected to financial needs on their website. And randomly, I don't really know how they do it, randomly, individuals choose to fund a particular school project. I don't know, maybe Monica has some experience with that. She's, and if for some reason the project, isn't funded in the first round or the second round, it stays on their website until it's like fully funded. They have a 77% funding rate. And then what happens is Donor Chooses gets the money. Donor Choose then purchases all the items for the schools. And so Amazon has committed $125,000 to Donor Choose's classroom initiative, and they are piloting it with 4 school districts: Palm Springs Unified, Riverside Unified, San Bernardino, and Bakersfield. And the campaign starts on September 19th. So I work with Simone and Mike, and we are going to participate in it. And on Monday, the 19th, teachers and the foundation will upload requests onto the Donor Choose site. It's a first come, first served basis. And as soon as Donor Chooses has exhausted, as soon as they've exhausted their $125,000 by funding, then the campaign will end. So I just wanted you to know that we've had 2 meetings with them and that will launch on Monday.
Is that like a match grant? Because I've donated to Donor Choose, and I know we have teachers currently that have project on Donors Choose. So I guess I got a couple questions. One, will those teachers be able to participate that are already on there?
That's
And
great.
then
Yeah.
Is Amazon just donating the first 125,000, and then the rest of the public donates on top of that?
So yes and no and yes.
Okay.
So if there are requests on there prior to Monday the 19th, they will not be included in the first come first serve up to 125,000. And then I'm sorry, the second one was, I said yes to, it stays on there. And it is not a match. Donor Chooses does not match. So it's Amazon's money. And right, so anything that goes up on the 19th, first come, first serve, up to $300. So if there's a $900 request, they will put only $300 into the 900, then the 900 stays on there. So the campaign that we're going to launch is up to $300, because we want every single teacher to be able to participate. The other thing is we're in our classroom grant season right now. And so we have gotten about 70 requests for funding that range from 500 to 2,500. And so we will post the ones that are fundable, which are under the $500 ones. $2,500, what we don't want to do is we don't want to put a $2,500 request, only get 300 from Donor Choose, and then it could sit there forever until it gets funded. And then the foundation will fund the balance of those. So if we upload a $900 request and $300 is funded by the Amazon money, then the foundation will complete the margin so that those teachers can get that. I hope I answered your questions.
That makes sense. Thank you.
I do think, Ellen, one part of the question, isn't it's just for teachers at specific school sites. Is that correct?
It's for any classroom in any one of our
classroom.
schools.
Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you.
And so we don't have a lot of time, which is why we thought it would be very clever to use the proposals that individuals have already sent into the foundation, because we've never been able to fund all of the requests. And so this really helps us fund those requests. So we thought that would give us a little leg up.
Not to get in the weeds, but I think you said you would omit a $2,500 grant. But if the foundation was going to fund a $2,500 grant, wouldn't you put it on Donor Choose? They do the first 300, then the foundation would do the remaining 2,200.
Yes, but we couldn't guarantee that because we don't have enough of the funds, we couldn't guarantee that everyone we posted at that level would receive the balance.
Got it.
So right now we started with what we know we absolutely can fund. And so we started with the lower amount and we'll go up. That doesn't mean those 2,500 won't get funded. It's just if they couldn't get funded, they would sit there much longer. And you don't see that number on Donor Choose. You really see anything from like $150 up to maybe $15. I don't see much more than that. I think when I looked last, there was still one $4,000 request still sitting there. So we just didn't want people's requests to be sitting.
Understandable. Thank you. All right. Anybody else? All right. Hearing no other comments, takes us to item number 6, approval of the Board Foundation Subcommittee meeting minutes of August 18th, 2022. Unless there are any changes, would somebody like make a motion that we approve those minutes?
Move for approval.
We have a
Second.
motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you all. Item number 7 is setting of the next Board Foundation Subcommittee meeting, which will be on October 22nd, 2022 at 3 p.m. So can we get a motion to adjourn, please? We have a motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 We
Thank
are
you.
adjourned. Thank you
That was
very
quick.
much.